me five, give me double shot it down.
Live from just south of the Windy City here in Joliet, Illinois. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Fuel Racing League for the Fuel Grand National Series here on your home for the Fuel Racing League, the North American Sim Racing Network. Tonight, it's race number 7 of the season, the 9th season of Fuel competition, the Colony Ammo 101 at the Chicagoland Speedway. Well, it's good evening and welcome everybody to tonight's Intercast here on the North American Sim Racing Network, your home for the Fuel Racing League here for 2026 and beyond. Live from the Chicagoland Speedway here tonight and up in the NASRN booth. My name is Trey Wright, and joining me in the color commentary section for the first time here on the NASRN, the owner of Lap Car Enterprises and the driver number 84 machine, Miss Crystal Bennett. And Crystal, first and foremost, welcome up to the booth. It's a little bit different of a vantage point from what you're used to on track. But we are in for what is expected to be a fantastic race here this evening with 21 cars putting down a lap. And it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight, that is for certain.
Right, you are on that. If anything, we can expect to see a lot of splitting strategies tonight. There's some talk of trying to make it on one stop, some talk on 2 stops. Tires are a concern. I think we're in for a really good race tonight.
We definitely are, as we'll go ahead and get our onboard camera situated as we go on board there for a brief moment with Grant Warren here at the Chicagoland Speedway, a first for the Fuel Grand National Series, coming down south of the Windy City of Chicago. The Chicagoland Speedway, which is making not only its debut here for the Fuel Grand National Series, it's making its triumphant return to the NASCAR levels here in Joliet, Illinois. And quite a few storylines to talk about here tonight, as you hear Alvarado will bring that number 28 car down the pit lane, putting the 22nd driver on a lap. We're becoming the 22nd driver to put down a lap here tonight. A couple of number shakeups, we'll go through those here momentarily, but a driver that is making their season debut, not on track just yet, but he is the only driver to put down a 29.2. The number 20 of Tyler Mallon coming on board here in that Notepad Racing number 24, or rather Toyota Supra, putting down a 29.212, the fastest by anybody, compared to the number 2 driver of Joshua Moyers, for those who have watched our Fast Racing League broadcasts here on Sunday nights, which will be coming back here in just a couple of weeks here on the NESRN. Now that Moyers, the second one champion for the Fast Renegade Pro Cup Series earlier this year in 2026, and he's currently second on the pylon. Drew Fast, Chris Bowes, making his Fuel Racing League debut here tonight in car number 10. There's a look at Bowes and that Dr. Pepper 711 Camaro, with the Camaros in full force up at the front end of the field, and Don LaPrade in that 74 car looking to get things going. He's up to 5th. A lot of new players on the grid here tonight, Crystal. Of course, you got Mallon and Moyers making their season debuts. Got a couple of guys, same thing with Chris Bowes in the 10 car, but you've got a couple of the drivers down below. You got Jovan Anderson. He's going to make in his second start of the season for your Michigan winner from earlier on. Same thing with Mini Mister making their second start of the season. Bobby Simpson is back in the car. Will Goss is back in the 82 as the man second on the point standings. But a driver that is not here tonight that is really going to shake things up with her absence. Your current points leader of Apollo Hyde out of the race tonight. And that is going to make things interesting, especially given this points battle between Hyde and Goss after Hyde took the points lead back from Will Goss. Those two have been back and forth, especially in that race at Bentway, which Hyde got her second consecutive win. She is a 38-point lead over Will Goss coming into tonight with only 5 races remaining in the season, but certainly coming down to it. But again, you take Apollo Hyde out of the equation, and it might just very well be open season here tonight with most of these drivers pretty similarly running some really good lap times.
Yeah, no doubt we're going to see a massive shakeup in points. But Apollo did unfortunately have to miss today for medical reasons, and will absolutely be falling out of the point lead. But if I had to guess, possibly out of the top 3 in points, depending on how today goes.
So with Tyler Mallon is going to end up with the practice win here tonight, as you see Jovan Anderson in the 2-car, that Amico Supra. You know, we talked about it the early part of the season, Crystal, a little bit in the server, but you know, there were a whole lot of Supras on the grid with the Toyotas not really being represented by anybody. Then Landon Lyle got a win at Nashville, as we'll go into qualifying here tonight with 22 cars on track.
To your car.
But Toyota hasn't really been represented a whole lot on the server and here in the Fuel Racing League, but they've certainly come out in full force. They've got a couple of wins this season. Landon Lyle was close to getting his second win of the season last week at what can only be described as a gong show at Bent Twig. And Jovan Anderson, like we said, your Michigan winner, putting the Toyota badge in victory lane, but it's been a lot of different manufacturers having a lot of different success, but overall, taking a look at your practice results, Tyler Mallon, Joshua Moyers, top of the charts there for the 20 and the 68. Drew Fast in third. Chris Bowes and Dunlap Prod, fourth and fifth. You know, looking at this list of 22 cars that have put down a time, you know, who are you looking at drivers to potentially really excel, especially given the circumstances of tonight? We're going to be seeing a lot of differing strategies at a track where, you know, after three different tracks, Pocono, Long Beach, and Bent Twig, we really didn't get a chance to see any strategies, but we come back to these D-shaped ovals here in Joliet. We could see some green flag runs and some pretty good strategies brewing here tonight.
Yeah, I think I want to put my money on the 74 of Dunlap Prod tonight. I want someone who is exceptional at saving tires, and he's probably the best person in the field right now at that. He did turn a 29.7 in practice, but that wasn't really pushing too hard, even if that was still a little bit of a push lap there. But I think during the race, we're probably going to see a race pace more in tune, a little bit over 30 seconds here.
Well, Drew Fast
just
right
to try
now.
to save your tires.
Drew Fast right now with the pole position at 29.4, 0.2 of a second off of where we saw Tyler Mallon run his best lap. 14 cars to put down a qualifying lap so far. Chris Bowes will jump up to second with a 29.6, 0.2 of a second off of where Drew Fast is running right now. You hear Alvarado with a blitzing lap, 29.743, good enough to tie with Mini Minister. I believe Minister would get the tiebreakers. They would exactly tied right down to the millisecond. 30 seconds to go in qualifying. Nothing yet from the 20 of Tyler Mallon, and he might be starting this race from the rear, and it looks like Drew Fast, the way things running right now, might be starting this race up on the pole. 15 seconds to go in qualifying. Fast still up front. Bowes in second, and how about that? How about a front row for Drew Fast and a front row start for Chris Bowes if we don't get anything to go here in qualifying? Final seconds will tick off, and that will do it. Drew Fast, top of the charts in qualifying with a plethora of drivers missing the show. With 16 cars all putting on a lap time, and Fast and Bowes, you know, you got a driver still looking for his first career win, and Bowes in his first career start looking to bat 1,000. That is exceptional for both of those drivers, but they did take advantage of the fact that quite a few drivers did not put down a lap. To Tyler Mallon and Jovan Anderson and Joshua Moyers, some of the drivers that did not put down a lap there in Q.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, watching those three drive up from the back of the field here.
So Drew Fast, Chris Bowes, Mini Minister, Yahir Alvarado will be towards the top end of the charts, as we'll try and get our graphic up and running here in just a few minutes once we get that going. And while we go ahead and get things going here to set things up for happy hour, you know what, actually, that's 22 names, and I'm not sure if we're going to get that done in time, so we're just going to go ahead and show everybody the qualifying results. So Drew Fast, 0.2 of a second faster than Chris Bowes coming into qualifying. And coming out of qualifying, Mini Minister, you hear Alvarado and Ike Durbin. If you told me, Crystal, that was going to be the top 5 starting for this race, I would think that you would be a little bit confusing. It's certainly not what we expected for these drivers, especially with you got 3 drivers that are kind of still relatively new to the Grand National side of things. And, of course, Drew Fast and Ike Durbin, we know what they've been able to do. Got Will Goss, Dunn LaPrade, Rich Roy, Trek Togger, and Tyler Stallhood to round out the top 10 coming into the happy hour section now. Certainly some interesting changes here tonight. So with happy hour getting underway, we'll take a look at our race analysis for tonight. 67 laps. Yes, you can do the hand motion, ladies and gentlemen. Going on the big board here tonight for the Colony Ammo 101. For 22 starters here this evening at this just a hair over a 1.5 mile tri-oval with that legendary bended back straightaway. We'll take a look at it here. You can see there is a curve, a little bit of a Peyronie's disease here at Chicagoland, if you will. I know Corbin Wentz isn't in the server tonight, but he got a kick out of that reaction. He'd get a kick out of that analogy here at this oblong-shaped back straightaway. And Crystal, with how this back straightaway is shaped, you are really just in the throttle for the majority of the time, especially going down the back straightaway. You know, you're able to carry a lot of speed out of turn number 2, out of the apex of 1 and 2, carry it down the back straightaway based on how it's angled, and going into 3 and 4. We don't really see cars braking. It's just letting off the throttle a little bit, running the outside lane. The Larson line, absolutely the way to go here tonight. But tire wear is absolutely going to be the #1 storyline for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, so we're going to see a couple different line strategies here. You can run up by the wall, you can run the middle. The only line I don't think I'd want to touch is the bottom, just because of how bumpy it is. But with how the track is laid out, you're never going to really get a break here. You're always turning the wheel just a little bit. So you have to have the endurance, and you've got to have a car that's set up for these long runs that are possible tonight.
And, of course, you'll look at that fuel window there for a brief moment as we're going to go ahead, just take a picture of the starting lineup for our nefarious purposes here on the broadcast. And we'll go back live here. You look at just that tire wear portion there, about 2 to 2.5 seconds of fall off is what we expect. 30 to 32 laps, so just shy of halfway is when we expect these guys to come down. It is going to be a 2-stop race unless we get some magnificent fuel saving. You know, and it's going to be a track. It's going to be a race, especially with the grid size. And, you know, like we always see, like we always talk about, plenty of differing skill sets here tonight, as RJ Bishop is going to bin it coming off of turn 1, driving like he's, oh, what's that kid's name? Driving like he's Drew Dollar there. Or driving like he's Max Reeves. God, the amount of things that I can say about that. That 16-year-old imbecile are not fit for FCC airwaves, and since we hold ourselves to a higher standard here on the NASR end to what Max Reeves holds his competitors to in the 18, we'll refrain from talking about anything. Safe to say, that kid is not a fan favorite here in the NASRN ranks, as Tyler Mallon will go to the top of the charts here in Happy Hour. And that will do it here for Happy Hour. We'll get our ticker recalibrated for the race. And Crystal, you got 22 cars to pick from and quite an array of drivers to look to get the job done. A couple of drivers coming back here tonight for our first race, or our only race, right before the America's 250th birthday this weekend. You know, who are you picking as a driver to really keep your eye on here tonight after a really great run here for a lot of these guys?
I'm sticking with my gut. I've got to go with the 74 of Dunn. I trust him the most here, mostly with just how high tire wear is. He always seems to be one of those drivers who, no matter what type of setup he has, whether it's too loose or too tight, he's able to somehow drive the car just right to not burn off his tires, and he's always right there at the end.
We're going to have to see if that brand new wrap on that 74 Schaefer Group Camaro will get his second win of the season, but it's Drew Fast who will lead the field to the green flag with one of your guys for Lap Car Enterprises sitting on the pole position for tonight, Chris Bowes on the outside pole, And we're going to send things down trackside for the most famous words in motorsports to get these 22 cars off and running through the gearbox here in just a few moments for race number 7 of season number 9 here for the Fuel Racing League, the Fuel Grand National Series for the Colony Ammo 101 here at Chicagoland.
Start your engines!
22 cars come to life here on the back straightaway at Chicagoland, and we are ready to roll off here for 101 miles. And it's Drew Fast who will sit on the pole position in that LCR and the LCE Valvoline number 4 Dodge. Chris Bowis in his Fuel Grand National Series debut will be on the outside of row number 1. Mini Minister and Yahir Alvarado will be on the outside of row number 2. Ike Durbin and Will Goss will round out the starting 6. 22 cars in total. As we get ready to do battle for 67 laps here at Chicagoland, but it's Drew Fast looking to get Lap Car Enterprises their first win of the season. He'll lead the through field of the Geico restart zone. Through the gearbox they go. One more green flag racing here in the Windy City. Will Goss immediately very tight through the corner, and up the racetrack goes the 82 as they fan out right in front of that 3Chi automobile, and he's already going to lose a couple of spots. Bowis up the racetrack in that 10 machine. Mini Minister down to the low side, and we've got 3 wide of the back as one car did not get going. That was Blake Warren, who looks like he is going to be out of the server 1 lap down. Had a little bit of trouble getting in. And a tough break for that Patriotic 83 machine, one of the few Patriotic cars we've got on the grid here tonight. 1 lap in the book, 66 to go. And Drew Fast out of here like a rocket. Could not ask for a better start than what we've got out of this driver. And Crystal, you know, we had Drew come in here during the offseason. Is trying to make some headway there. Is Tyler Stallhood trying to find a way around Yahir Alvarado. But Drew's been really good for this team so far. Currently top 5 in the standings coming into Chicagoland tonight. And he could be definitely a driver to keep your eye on here, trying to get your team their first win of Season 9.
Oh, it's been a blast having him on board. I gave him the call before the season started, asking him if he wanted to drive a Dodge. He seemed pretty on board with it, and he's shown a lot of improvement as we have a car hit the apron here, go around. That's the 45 of
Corey Stallhood involving Victor Nunez. Grant Warren also in there as well, and that will solidify it as a multi, and Bobby Simpson. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my God, what are brakes?
And that is hopefully not a preview of what to expect from the ARCA Menard Series drivers this upcoming weekend here at Chicagoland. Started with a 2-car incident, 2 more cars pile in. There was nothing that Grant Warren could do. He was just trying to check that car down. And that Coca-Cola Chevrolet absolutely destroyed. And meanwhile, Bobby Simpson doing his best Eric Almirola impression in the 30. He just had nowhere to go.
Just doesn't even try to stop.
And that will put us under our first caution flag of the evening here on lap number 3. And it all got started when Corey Stallhood broke sideways, and he's going to break sideways at a turn 4 again here, coming back to the yellow. He got caught up there with the 55 of Victor Nunez, changing his number from 54 to 55. And the other Patriotic car on the grid here tonight. So both Patriotic cars here on the race just shy of the 4th of July having some issues. And only 3 laps into the contest, we are going to have some drivers stay out. But majority of the field coming down, just trying to get some fresh Goodyears on their automobiles. So a great start. Not as chaotic of a start that we thought we were going to get, and it's definitely not as chaotic of as a start as we had at Bent Twig last week, as Corey Stallhood misses pit lane. He was obscured by the ticker in the 45, but Drew Fast first one down the pit area. And it looks like Dunlaprade just getting a 2-tire stop there in the 74. Only 5 laps into the contest. And the strategy already coming into play here at Chicagoland.
And Blake Warren will be scored on the lead lap here momentarily. He was forced to miss the start of the race due to game issues.
We'll take a look and see what happened to put us under this first caution flag. It started with Stallhood clipping the apron in 3, spun himself around. Nunez did just clip the 45 a little bit. Here comes a 33, and Bobby Simpson, my lord. It's almost like he had a stuck throttle or something, because he absolutely destroyed that Cheetos 30 car. We'll get another look here at the TV2 cam. And that's just that domino effect here in online racing, where you got one car go around. And really, I'm surprised the caution flag didn't come out a little bit earlier, because that's what I was watching. Because Nunez, actually, you know what? Nunez did a good job of avoiding the 45. Then Grant had his own issues, and good lord, we've seen some wild wrecks from Bobby Simpson in the past here, especially in 2026. And I want to look at his telemetry to see if he tried to slow down at all. Looking at the telemetry, still going 150, 147. He did not back off whatsoever. That is the unfortunate textbook definition of ARCA brakes, and looks like that's going to cost him a lot here, and Grant Warren has taken his car to the garage area.
What a shame for Grant, because he was looking to have another strong night. He's been having a string of really great runs here as of late. For it to come to an end on lap 4,
He is
I just got to feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah, he was starting this race in the back, and again, you look at the point standings. He was 11th in the standings, moving up a spot after Bent Twig. Chris Bowis and Mini Minister have collided in turn 3 here under the caution flag. You don't see that often. So a rookie mistake out of a couple of newer drivers. Minister making his season debut a couple of months ago at this point at Michigan at race number 2 of the season. Tyler Stallhood will come down the pit lane, and you hear Alvarado up in the wall. We've got, I don't know what's going on here with a lot of these guys. We're trying to go over points, and everybody is just wrecking under caution. Mini Minister wrecks under caution.
And while they're wrecking back there, we are choosing Don on the outside, Drew to the inside. Chris and Will Goss will be row 2, Ike and RJ row 3, as the rest of the field is going to attempt to file out behind them.
So 21 cars made the green flag. I do not see, trying to see who is the odd one out from those that were that put down a qualifying lap for the 22 that were put in.
I think the odd one out would be, I think it was Blake.
Blake currently being scored. He's going to be back on the lead lap. He was the lucky dog after all that. Bobby Simpson currently 2 laps down. We'll see if we get 22 cars fitted in here this next time around, but not going to matter. Grant Warren out of the race. 21 cars will remain in anyway. But Drew Fast, first car on 4 fresh tires. The only car on older 2-tire stop there was 74 of Dunlop, but he'll be the control car leading the field back through the Geico restart zone. Back through the gearbox we rumble here at Chicagoland. LaPrade, Fast, Goss, 48 of RJ Bishop, Chris Bowis, your top 5 going back through the gearbox, and here we go. Oh, RJ down on the apron in the 48. Up the racetrack he goes, having a slam on the brakes. Was like Durbin. He gets into the wall, and Rich Roy goes sideways. Collects Victor Nunez. Mini Minister will able to drive his way through. Corey Stallhood
the inside,
sliding his way through. Tyler Stallhood was involved, and the yellow flag will fly for the second time. And the cautions, Braden cautions here at Chicagoland. And that was exactly what you wanted if you're Drew Fast. An important lesson being learned for Dunlop here tonight. He got absolutely blitzed on that restart, fell from 1st to 3rd in the span of about maybe 3/4 of a mile. And he'll likely be on the same strategy with these other drivers as he picks his way up through the field. But that was an unfortunate chain reaction there. All started when RJ Bishop clipped the apron through 1. Went up the track, and unfortunately nowhere for a lot of these guys to go. And for Rich Roy. He was just trying to slam on the brakes. Doesn't look like there's too much damage on that Millennium Autosport Mazda, but
I
he'll
think
try
the
on
worst
trundle
he
that car
has
back.
right now is a flat left front. Looks like he cut that down in the spin.
That is manageable here at Chicagoland, and Fast, Malin, and company all coming back down the pit lane. Tyler Malin, who started this race very deep in the field after not putting down a qualifying lap, has made his way inside the top 5. And we do get a handful of drivers staying out. Will Goss, Don LaPrade, Vincenzo Focasato. First time we've mentioned this 37 driver here tonight, ace racer Blake Warren, who is still being scored as 1 lap down, so I believe now he'll be getting the free pass. Truck Dogger, Bobby Simpson, and Corey Stallhood all coming down. Yahir Alvarado is also a lap down in the 28, I believe. He has fallen outside of the server, so that will field the field back down to 19 cars, and we'll grab a look at what happened to put us under this second caution flag of the evening. We saw it happen right off of the restart. So RJ trying to move underneath. I think he just checked up into the 82 a little bit, hit the apron, goes up the track, and Rich just gets into the 86. Around he goes. Spinning around, and Tyler Stallhood and Corey Stallhood trying to miss, and Tyler just nudging that one car into the inside wall just a tad. Nothing too detrimental race-wise on that one car. I think just a little bit of damage, and well, there goes the game on my part, so let's go back into the server.
As we choose, never mind, we're not choosing this time by. My bad.
I got faked out there.
I think all of us got faked out. Trying to hop back in, and
Meanwhile, Chris Bowles is rejoining the field. He fell out a couple laps ago. I don't believe he is being scored by the game just yet, but he is going to at least rejoin the field under yellow.
so as Bowers will rejoin the field under yellow, we'll rejoin the field here with
And
some
I just
technical
fell out.
difficulties on our end. So we'll get back into things, and I believe our ticker might in fact be a little messed up as well. So I might have to do things a little old school style. As we'll see if the ticker works. We're still under the caution flag, and I believe the lap count, well, the running order should be fine. I think it's just the lap count, the lap 12 of -1, and that's the unfortunate side effect of GNL TV, that when you join a session mid-race after the game crashes, it unfortunately tends to not show how many laps we've got, but we do have 67 laps going on the board, and once we get down to the halfway point of the race, we'll let you know just how many laps we've got left to go.
Now, the field has chosen, but I'm not quite sure why they're 3 wide right now. I guess there's a bit of a disagreement there. We have Will Goss to the outside and Don LaPrade to the inside. That's about all I can say for certain, though, as there's still a bit of a disagreement for what appears to be 4th.
Yeah, Ace Racer still trying to file in, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get another caution lap just trying to figure things out. Because Racer currently right now is being scored in the 4th position, and Blake Warren would be on the outside. I believe Warren is still being scored a lap down on my end. And
I think
Ace
he's being treated as a lead lap car.
Gotcha. And Racer, I believe he's just going to restart from the back end of the grid, so
Getting word that he changed lanes, so he is being sent to the rear.
that will do it, and that will send Ace Racer from the 4th position all the way down to 19th. Make that 16th on the grid, joining RJ Bishop in the back. Green flag back out in the air here at Chicagoland. Great restart on the outside lane for Will Goss. And here we go. get our lap count in, and I don't believe our lap count will officially work here, so we'll get that situated in just one moment here on lap number 14 of the night. So we're going to go ahead and pull things down on the low side there with Will Goss in the lead. Focusato, and we got a big crash back here. Stallhood, Warren, both around. Chris Bowis looking to slide his way back through. And the caution flag will fly once again here at Chicagoland. Third caution flag of the evening, coming on lap 14 of the night. And that was very unfortunate there for a couple of drivers. For Warren, he was involved there with Stallhood, and Chris Bowis, after starting on the outside pole position, coming back in. He will get his lap back after this most recent caution, but third caution flag of the night here at Chicagoland. I believe, yeah, the lap count is just showing 2 caution flags are out. And another split round of strategies off of the pit lane. With Will Goss down the pit lane, Vincenzo Focusato will remain out. And that is going to make things very interesting here tonight. This driver is more towards the back of the field, heading towards their pit stalls. And Will Goss will go on board the 82 just to get our camera recalibrated here. Mini Minister drew fast down the pit lane, but the majority, I'd say about half of the field, staying out under this most recent caution. And we'll grab a look at what happened.
Round of pit stops here is mostly just a fuel call. Try to pack another lap or two in there because they didn't really go green for all that long.
Yeah, I think that's our second caution flag right off of the restart. And we'll get another look at it here as Blake Warren in the 4th position. He just ran up and got run over by Corey Stallhood. Bounced that 45 car around, or that 83 car was bounced around. Another instance of Bobby Simpson flying through there at full speed.
He's getting a bit dangerous with not slowing down for wrecks here.
I will say he has already been a little bit dangerous here tonight. We saw it a little earlier on, so it could be a minor safety issue as Focusato will lead them back to the choose cone this time by, I believe. And it looks like we're going to be getting the choose next time by. The caution flags a little extended here at Chicagoland. You know, they're a little tiny bit longer than the 2-lap ones we had at Bent Twig last week. You talk about a race that was kind of just a gong show from start to finish, and that was what Bent Twig was, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was honestly a little bit of a maddening race. I was done with it halfway through, and I still had to do another 50 laps.
Yeah, I believe you got a top 10 result. I think you were caught up in that last corner melee with Landon Lyle and company, but I think you got a top 10 out of that.
I got walled in it, but I still managed to hold on for I think I finished 6th there. As we have a gaggle of cars at the back of the field here, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Looks like the 10's going to the rear.
We'll have to figure that out here in a moment. As we'll go ahead and at least get something up on the where the lap count will usually be, and we'll pull things down here we'll get the lap count down at the bottom.
And we are choosing this time. Vincenzo inside, Dunn outside. Trek Tauger, I think this is the first time we've mentioned him. He chooses the inside. He will be 3rd. Ike Durbin outside, Tyler Stallhood inside, Rich Roy outside. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Corey Stallhood, Ace Racer, Tyler Mallon, and Blake Warren coming to this restart.
An interesting cast of characters here coming back to the green flag. Coming around to start lap number 19 of the race. And still these guys are going to have to come down the pit lane at least one more time. Potentially 2 more times in terms of just how tire wear has been here a little bit tonight. But Dunlaprod clawing his way back after starting in the back. Same thing with Vincenzo Focusato. I don't believe either of those drivers put down a lap in qualifying. Yeah, Focusato didn't put a lap down. Laprade, he did put a lap down. He qualified in 7th in the 74 car. Here we go. Coming back around for our 3rd restart of the night. You'll ride on board with the Schaefer Group 74 of Dunlaprod for this next restart. Back there at gearboxes we go. Focusato, Laprade, Togger, Stolhood, and Durbin, your top 5. Green flag back out and away here in Chicagoland, and a great restart on the outside for Laprade. Great restart on the inside for Focusato. Focusato out and away on those older tires. Spinner in the back. Corey Stolhood around in the 45. I believe it was just a single car incident. We'll continue to race on for the moment. Victor Nunez slideways in turn number 3. An incredible save there out of that 55. Blake Warren to the outside wall off the corner, and we'll make things back to the line here to start lap number 20. And already we got drivers migrating up to the top side. You got Laprade up high. You've got the 37 of Focusato up high. Truck Togger holding on to the 3rd spot right now. Durbin, Tyler Stolhood coming back from that spin. Same thing with Rich Roy, who brought out caution number 2 of the evening earlier on in this race. Stolhood tight off the corner, just about loses that Charger.
We're almost going to push it 3 wide here going into turn 1, but the 86 of Ike Durbin thinks better of it, backs out of the situation.
Durbin trying. He's going to wisely play it again, and in order to finish first, he first must finish. Durbin thinking about trying to play it 3 wide once again, trying to get underneath that 60 car. Rich Roy is going to say thank you very much for a couple of free spots, and we look more towards the back. Tyler Mallon starting to make some hay while things are shining here on lap 22. Drew Fast starting to come his way back through the field after pitting during that most recent sequence, and Mallon will move his way to the inside of the 60. Mallon, top of the charts in practice and happy hour early on, did not put down a qualifying lap. Minnie Minister and Will Goss both battling in the back. Jovan Anderson and Joshua Moyers trying to make some headway as well for those 2 drivers making their season debuts. And for Moyers making a season debut, for Anderson looking at about 1,000 and go 2 for 2 in the races he had completed in so far this season. He'll move his way around Victor Nunez for the 11th spot. Back for the race lead. And Dunlaprade has gained in on Vincenzo Focusato, but Tyler Stolhood is going to make this a menage a trois for the race lead. Mazda, Chevrolet, Dodge, and Mazda. And the other Mazda, you've got Millennium Autosport running up here in full force. Of course, a lot of these drivers from the area for Ike Durbin. I believe this is a home race for that 86 driver. Of course, you got the Michigan native of Vincenzo Focusato still trying to fight for this race lead. Dunlaprade down to the inside, and here comes Stolhood, the Tennessean, looking to maneuver down underneath the 74. Go on board with Stolhood. Up the racetrack goes Dunn, a little too high up the track with the 74, and here comes Stolhood.
Doesn't clear him quite yet. I think he's going to get him going into turn 1 here.
It's going to be tight going into this opening corner. This is all happening behind this 37 car, and Laprade, he might be starting to lose it with that tire wear on the outside of the 74. 1 car down low and a flat left rear tire on the 83 of Blake Warren, so trouble on that Dale Jr. throwback from 12 years ago. We'll put him a lap down in the 83. A rough start to this race for Blake Warren. Still battling for second right now. Stolhood and Laprade here. Lap number 26 of the race. 19 cars still in the race. Tyler Mallon poking his nose inside the top 5 as he's gotten around Rich Roy, and now nearly into the wall there was Laprade, but those 4 fresh Goodyears starting to make their worth here for Tyler Mallon. He has marched his way inside the top 5. He might be marching his way up for the race lead on the inside of 3 wide. Bobbling there was Stolhood. Hang on to it, buddy. He was absolutely wrecking loose and somehow was able to save that one car. And now Drew Fast not going to follow the same fate. One lap car Enterprises car saved it out of turn 4. Backing it into the turn 2 wall is going to be Drew Fast, and the pole sitter around in a shower of sparks and smoke. And the yellow flag will come out for the 4th time this evening.
That will bring out the yellow, and that's going to destroy the rear end of that 4 car.
So one of your drivers had a great save out of the final corner and going into the opening set of corners. Give and take there for lap car Enterprise, and that's going to be a little bit to bang out there for Drew Fast, and that is going to restrict him a lot here.
Well, he's going to end up losing pretty much all downforce he has here. So that car is going to end up being wrecking loose for the second half of this race. Really hate it for him. He was running in 5th. He was having a really strong night. I really hope he's able to rebound from it.
So coming here on pit lane on lap 28 of the night.
I think everybody's coming down here.
Everybody's still going to have to make at least one more pit stop. Just about everybody. We are going to get a couple of drivers staying out here. Ace Racer will stay out, but most everybody down the pit lane.
Corey Stallhood and Bobby Simpson among those that stayed out as well. I think Stallhood might be trying to take a wave. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's coming to a stop here.
So Corey Stallhood, I believe he may have missed pit lane. And Ace Racer is going to get a lap lead tonight. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's his first lap lead. He may have had a second lap lead on the season. Focusato will win the race off of the pit lane. Joshua Moyers will make his way up through the grid. They're starting this race in the back, and we'll grab a look at what happened for caution number 4 of the evening. Saw it happen live. And it looks like the Millennium Autosport automobile of Rich Roy got into the 4. And we'll look here. Up the racetrack. You know, at the first glance of that, I think Drew may have came down onto the 29. Because I was watching the seam with Rich, and just about staying the whole time there on that seam was the 29. We'll get another look at it here. You know, watch this 4 car. You know what? I think Rich came up a little smidge. Drew came down a smidge. And there was just no real estate left for either of them.
They're just going for the same spot on the racetrack right there. It sucks. It happens in racing all the time. You just got to take what it gives you.
Yeah, I would chalk that up as a racing incident. Heavy amount of damage on the back end of the 4. Good news for him. We got moderate damage on, but like you said, Crystal, that is a lot of downforce. That is not going to be available on that Valvoline Charger, and he'll restart in 15th.
A lot of ground to make up, and it's going to be fairly difficult for him to make up said ground.
This field is still behind the pace car. We'll be choosing this next time by. And Ace Racer still staying out in the 64. So it's a lone car to stay out during that sequence. Vincenzo Focusato won the race off the pit lane after making what was his 4th pit stop of the day. Actually, just his 2nd pit stop. And
It will be great to see how this choose goes, because the 64 is on by far the oldest tires in the field now. I want to say by about 10 or 15 laps.
We'll see once they get the choose cone. Racer will indeed stay out, so he will be the control car. Leading us back through the gears. He'll pick the inside lane, and he might have had a controller disconnection there as he got up into the 37. Checking at the USA soccer score for the World Cup. Currently a 1-0 lead over Bosnia and Herzegovina going into the 75th minute of the match.
The 64 is turning himself off of
Oh, an
Vincenzo.
Ace Racer stacking up the whole grid.
What in the world?
And Drew Fast coming through here. I believe that's going to put us right back under the caution, or is it?
Yeah, we have caution flag back out. So the 64 said he was going to choose the outside, chose the inside, and then decided to just drive up the track across the 37's nose. I don't even know what to make of that.
Well, as of right now, we're still going green. Racer trying to move their way back, and everybody just trying to get back in their positions after whatever just happened there. So now, Focusato is going to be on the outside. That's going to give Tyler Mallon the inside, and we're going to go back green here. I don't know what happened. We're green flag racing, and that's going to give Tyler Mallon the green light to go on the inside. He hits the apron. Racer
I'm
up
not sure
on
why
the
64
outside.
was allowed to keep the lead after that.
I'm surprised we went green as they wrecked coming down the back straightaway, but that's going to really shake things up, and that's going to give Tyler Mallon the race lead with Mini Minister up to second. And Racer up in the outside wall hard, right in the lightning. And we'll finally come down the pit lane from the third lane, nearly pulling a Quinhalf and nearly got ran over by the 29. And a bad sequence of events for Ace Racer will put that car easily one lap down, and that is really going to shake things up because that's going to give Tyler Mallon the race lead after he was originally going to be restarting in the second spot. Again, everybody on the same strategy tire-wise right now. Dunlaprod making a thinking about making it 3 wide. We'll tuck back in line behind Minister. Mallon, Minister, Laprod, Focusato, and Tyler Stolhood back in the fray in this one car. Everybody bouncing around here down the back straightaway. Got Minister on the outside lane trying to get the runoff, and we got one car around. It's RJ Bishop off the corner. He spins the car around, and the yellow flag will fly. It looks like he got a little help from behind, and the yellow flag is out for the 5th time this evening here at Chicagoland. And for RJ Bishop, another Warren Wentz Racing-related driver having an issue in this race. Spins around, and we'll see if he got any help from behind here.
I don't think he did. People are calling it a solo wreck.
You know, it looked like he just lost the
64 spins off of turn 2.
Yeah, looking at this 48 car. Yeah, he's spun around all by himself. I'm very surprised we called that a caution flag. Alrighty then.
I'm honestly thinking they were looking for an excuse to reset the field here.
You know what? That wouldn't surprise me.
As this incident off of turn 2, the 64 is slowing up with a 30 on his bumper, spins him around. That's coming to the pace queue.
Yeah, and we'll get a look at that here as we watch the race coming off of the pit lane for these drivers. A lot more fidgeting around than we're used to seeing for some of these guys. I believe we should have everything because, again, I think the internet on my end might be starting to poo-poo a little bit as Drew Fast is going to come out way behind a lot of these drivers. Tyler Mallon wins the race off of the pit lane with 2 drivers staying out. They're on the lead lap, both the 60 and the 30. And we're going to take a look and see just what happened right on this restart with Ace Racer and company. You know, and just trying to just look back at just what happened here. You know, so this is off of turn number 2, and I think Racer is just trying to go to the outside lane, gets turned by Vincenzo. And that stacks up everybody.
Now, we do have some clarification from Tyler Stallhood here. The 64 was black flagged for that, whatever in the world that was under caution there. They're not eligible for a wave under this yellow. That's going to go to Corey Stallhood.
And this yellow was a mistake, so Tyler Stallhood actually claimed it.
So Tyler Stallhood will get the EOL penalty on that, and I believe we might have another score update here. I believe the United States has been tied by Bosnia and Herzegovina in the 80th minute of the game. Still waiting to see, just based on the reactions of my sports group chat on my phone. I don't see anything yet. I haven't seen. I think it's still 1-0 USA, approaching the 81st minute.
And I am getting more clarification here. While the caution was a bit trigger happy, it was mostly an excuse. So a lot of the people that were screwed over with the Ace Racer shenanigans could actually fix their cars and not have to suffer under the green flag.
So it all works out in its own way, as Togger is going to remain on track.
Same as Bobby Simpson here.
Yeah, these two drivers, the only ones that were on the lead lap to stay out, is Corey Stallhood and Ace Racer back down the pit lane in the 64, I believe, to serve that penalty, and Stallhood will go to the EOL as well. So as we approach the midway point of this race, in fact, we're past the halfway point. Here, working on lap number 38 of 67.
Now, you can make it on fuel from here. It's
absolutely
entirely
can.
possible. But the big question is, will your tires make it? And that's what I'm not confident about. I still think the winning strategy is going to be pitting in maybe 10 to 15 laps, just so you have a fresh set of Goodyears here to close out the finish, as we have a very late choose from Bobby Simpson here.
So Simpson will be down on the inside lane, and that's going to give the outside to Tyler Mallon. The inside lane has historically been the way to go in this race, but we do have quite a few new characters back at the front end of the grid. Got Vincenzo Focasato. He's bugging out heavily there in the 37. He got Jobin Anderson and Joshua Moyers inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. But it's Trek Togger and Tyler Mallon who will lead the field back through the Geico restart zone. Here we are, green flag back out of the way. A really good restart there for Mallon. Simpson did not get going whatsoever, and he's going to jump all the way to the back. Mallon out front. LaPrade will follow him. It looks like the outside lane was the lane to choose. Trek Togger falling back right into the clutches of Jovan Anderson. Victor Nunez sideways. He bounces off the wall once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Somehow keeps that Supra pointed in the right direction. And we remain green after Victor Nunez doing some dashing. Here it's the Morse code racing down the back straightaway. And for the race lead, LaPrade right on the back end of Mallon. Mallon shuts the door on the 74, forces him up high. That's been the wheelhouse of LaPrade so far tonight. Coming around to the last little bit of lap time here. Still a lot to go, and now LaPrade coming with the crossover down to the inside of the 20. Will Goss and Drew Fast side by side for third. These two have history from earlier on this season. Jovan Anderson right behind them to round out the top 5. Joshua Moyers rounding out the starting 6 right now. Chris Boas has made his way back up into 7th. Vincenzo Focasato might be taking that away from him. And for the race lead, LaPrade down to the inside of Tyler Mallon. He's going to take that spot away. Don LaPrade out front here with under 30 laps to go. Looking for the crossover once again. There is a 20, though. The back of the field. Victor Nunez around off the corner will remain green. Another single car spin. And the top 5 now beginning to rubber band their way back together. Moyers might want to make it a 6-pack for a battle for the race lead. How about this recovery for Drew Fast? Up to 4th, back that car into the outside wall. Crystal, I know that this 4 car has been hunting for a race win all season long. He has been oh so close so many times. 4 podium finishes on the season so far, if memory serves me right. It's just outside the podium for now, right behind the 82 of Goss. Goss looking to send things down to the inside of Mallon. Go on board with the 82 as Malin will once again go side by side with LeBron for the race lead. And Fast will go side by side with Goss.
Not going to quite clear LeProd off of turn 4 here. He's still going to stay side by side going into turn 1.
They almost touched there, actually.
Side-by-side battle for first, side-by-side battle for third. We might be getting a side-by-side battle for fifth here between Anderson and Moyers here relatively shortly. Malin's going to hold back in line for the time being, and at this stage of the race, if we do get a 30-lap green flag run, which they can make it to the end here on fuel, you're going to want to save as much tire wear as humanly possible, Crystal. We've seen it, about 2.5 seconds of fall off here is going to be what they experience during a full complete run of Chicagoland. And by the end, you're going to be driving on ice skates at the end of this run. Another car going around. It's Bobby Simpson, an ace racer, and the caution flag is out. So never mind talking about strategy to the end as a yellow flag is out here on lap 45.
This changes everything.
And this throws the strategy right back out the window for our 6th caution flag of the night. Things have certainly changed here at Chicagoland, and looks like Bobby Simpson was caught up in his second incident of the night along with Ace Racer.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of that, so I'll leave that up for you to determine with the replay. It looks like one zigs and one zags.
So LePron led them back to the start-finish line. And everybody's going to come down the pit lane. You would have to be crazy not to pit here. It doesn't look like... actually,
speaking of crazy, we got Trek Togger staying out.
I think Togger might be just looking for a lap lead. We are past halfway. I think
you never know.
I mean, he already stayed out during that last caution and then got eaten alive on the restart. Blake Warren is 3 laps down. Bobby Simpson is 1 lap down. So Togger, the only lead lap car to stay out of the pit lane. And it looks like we might have... I thought we were going to have some split strategy. Some drivers taking 2 tires, others taking 4. And is in fact 2-0. United States of America over Bosnia and Herzegovina late in that game. So it looks like the United States will remain alive and will advance to the round of 16 in the World Cup. And meanwhile, here in Chicagoland, Tyler Stolhood wins the race off of the pit lane over Dunlaprod.
And we have a urgent, I guess, radio transmission from Mini Minister in the 22. They say horse.
Gotta love the Fuel Racing League. And Stolhood, he took 2 tires on that restart.
At that stage of the race already.
It's getting to silly season.
Oh, I can't say that over airwaves.
Yeah. Got some interesting text messages as we look at what have brought out this caution flag.
Trek, Bobby, Ace, and Corey Stallhood all go down pit road. Looks like Ace is taking the claim. But Blake Warren staying out. He is 2 laps down. I would assume he is going to be trying to take a wave here.
So we see what happened there between the 30 and the 64 on your screen. And like you said, I think just a little bit of a racing deal. Racer is going to be claiming that incident. It's been an up and down evening so far here for Ace Racer. But it looks like Blake Warren trying to get maybe another lap back here. After staying out, I believe he'll just file his way back to the tail end of the grid.
I think if he stays past pit road, well, if he doesn't pit this time by, he will be given a wave around. So that would put him to 1 lap down, if I remember this correctly.
You know, at this point in the race, you know, Bobby Simpson, Ace Racer, they are on fresh rubber, but you get to the point where they run into each other once again, you're able to get around them. That would put this 83 car back on the lead lap after what has been excruciating evening so far for Blake Warren in this 83.
I mean, from the get-go, everything started
Literally.
going downhill for him. What, lap 4? I want to say 4 or 5.
It was not even lap 4. It was right off the start when he wasn't even able to get in the race. And then I think it was Grant Warren that went around earlier on.
Blake given the wave around.
So Warren has been given the wave around, and that will put the 83 car back 1 lap down. And here, coming around to lap number 50, with 28 laps to go. Actually, no. It'll be 18 laps to go this next time by. For those just tuning in and wondering why we don't have the lap count up on our ticker, our stream, or rather, our game unfortunately crashed, and GNL TV does not like that. So we're on lap number 49 of the night. We'll be getting this race restarted on lap 50, with 18 laps to go in the Colony. In the Colony Ammo 101 here at the Chicagoland Speedway, part of the NASRN's coverage of the Fuel Grand National Series here tonight. From the Chicagoland Speedway for the Colony Ammo 101, live from Joliet, Illinois. Trey Wright and Crystal Bennett on the call here tonight for the Fuel Racing League. Race number 7 of the season. And right before we hit the green flag, we'll take a look at our rest of the schedule here for season number 9. Got a super speedway coming up next week. Crystal, I know you love those races. Going to the Anchorage Speedway up in Alaska. Anchorage, North Wilkesboro, Indianapolis, and Iowa to round out the 9th season of competition before we'll wrap things up with season number 10 in the late part of summer. Here in just a couple of months. That, of course, is then This Is Now. Green flag back on the air. 18 to go. LeProd gets the jump on the outside lane. And here he comes rocketing around Stolhood on those 4 fresh tires.
As the leader taking the green flag, the 64 has been disqualified from the race. They will not be scored anymore tonight. We have someone else on the apron back there. I think that's a 22 Mini Minister.
Minister nearly breaking sideways, and now he is going to break sideways and collects like Durbin.
Oh, what a hellacious hit for the 22 there.
The
Head
wheel
on to the
stuck
outside
on
wall
that
at full speed.
discount Ford. And on that discount tire Mustang, and that was just the worst possible place for that wheel to just break sideways, and that is going to easily take Ike Durbin out of contention here tonight under caution flag number 7.
That'll take the 22 out of it too. He hit that wall a ton with the front end of that car. I don't think he scrubbed off any speed there. Looks like he, I think he almost took the 45 out there too.
They almost did. Corey Stolhood doing a good job of trying to just remaining to get out of the way, but already 7 cautions on the night. I believe that is our 3rd caution after a restart. I believe that would give us single file restarts from here on out. Nobody's going to come down the pit lane, and this is going to make things interesting here. We'll get this race restarted probably with about 15 to go.
Now you have to decide. We are in the closing stages of this race. Nobody went down this time by, except for the 2 cars involved in the wreck. Bobby Simpson taking a wave around, so he will rejoin at the tail end of the lead lap. But coming out of turn 4 next time by, do you want to play a strategy game of diving down, trying to take a few people with you, or just trying to gain a small advantage on tires, maybe put some extra tape on the car?
I really, I wouldn't be opposed to that as you just see that hellacious hit there from Minister and the 86. We'll get another look at it here, but, I wouldn't personally be opposed to doing that. And even because we've seen drivers being able to drive their way from the back to the front relatively easily. And you just see, the car grips there, worst possible time. Corey Stolhood did get a piece there. So overall, a really hellacious shot there for Minister. He is going to remain in the race for now. I don't think we are going to see any drivers looking to pick up some trickery. Oh, RJ Bishop is going to roll the dice.
Now, I will say most drivers in the field right now are running grill tape values of around 55 to 60%. You can bump that up to around 70, 75 and get away with it. But if it were a little bit later in the race, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 to go. I'd say bump it up to 85% and just pray that you don't hand grenade the engine.
So we'll see this 48 car taking some tires, taking some fuel, and he is going to have to try and hustle his way on up as the field is already down the back straightaway. But it is, and this is huge for the rest of the field. And you know what? We talked about drivers driving their way from the back to the front. This is huge because that was our third caution flag directly after a restart. That will, in fact, give us single file restarts for the remainder of the race. Get this race restart with under 15 laps to go here in Chicagoland, and Dunlop, who has led 11 laps tonight, will lead them back through the gearbox. Tyler Mallon right behind him. It's hard to believe Mallon has only led 4 laps here tonight in this 20 car. He has had to do some driving his way from the back to the front. Tyler Stallhood, Vincenzo Focusato, and Drew Fast round out the 5 cars inside the top 5. Joe Van Anderson, Joshua Moyers, Chris Boas, Rich Roy, and Will Goss, the top 10. Anderson did not get going. He slipped a gear on the restart. And that'll drop that Amoco Supra all the way to the back end of the grid, and that will bring the top 5 all within one another. And here we go on lap number 54 of the race.
We got Vincenzo Focusato looking to make a move on Tyler Stallhood for third. He's going to try to hook around the bottom. I don't know if he's going to quite get there just yet. He falls back in line, and Dunlop hits the wall out of 4.
Laprade slapped the wall a little bit. Here comes Mallon grabbing a really big run on the back end of that 74. They're on board with Mallon and that Notepad Racing number 20 machine. That Ream Supra looking to become the 6th different winner in 7 races here in season number 9 of the Fuel Grand National Series. Didn't have a good entry through the corner that time. Laprade still trying to take advantage of that 20 car, but a big run coming here for the 20. Mallon getting a huge run heading into turn number 1 and dives back down to the low side of that 74. Laprade has been loving that Larson line here tonight, and Tyler Mallon has been loving the lower line here tonight.
Now I can see why Dunn loves the Larson line. Look at that run that he got off of turn 2, trying to hold off Mallon here as we have
Stallhood up into the outside wall. He's going to lose a lot of spots. He was running in 4th, and he's going to fall back into 7th. Vincenzo Focusato will go to 3rd as Bobby Simpson in the infield, out of the race presumably. And meanwhile, Mallon on the inside, but getting that big run off the corner like you were talking about as Laprade and the caution flag is out. RJ Bishop and Corey Stallhood around and down the front straightaway. Caution number 8 of the evening here at Chicagoland. And with exactly 10 laps to go this next time by. Grab the 6 shooters, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the Windy City. And we're going to have a good old-fashioned shootout here just outside of Chicago. With 10 laps to go, coming to the caution flag. And like you're talking about, Crystal, we might get some pretty zesty strategy.
I think we might see a couple of drivers go down pit road here. We might see a split of 2 and 4 tires, and I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of drivers decide to put some growth tape on their cars, make them run a little bit harder for these closing laps.
I would not be surprised either.
Grip.
You know, because we do have about 10 laps on these tires, if that.
And we should be going green with, I want to say, 6 to go.
Ooh, very interesting strategy call there for the 74. Laprade was going to try and bring down everybody. He stays out.
Blake Warren will take a wave. Trek Togger and I believe that's Mini Minister.
Corey
that's Corey Stallhood.
And that, I really don't know about that for Dunn, because tire wear has meant literally everything here tonight. I really don't know about that for Laprade.
I don't know if these worn tires are going to hold up.
Hopefully, the game did crash. We are back here. If we can get our mic up. Okay, there we go. So we're back here. We're at least back online. Love the internet crapping out every once and again. We should be able to get back in the server right before the green flag will fly. Good thing we've already had one crash on the night. No, let's not disconnect from the server. We've already disconnected once already. Ironically, you know, that didn't even happen on the replay. You know, ultimately, we're not going to be able to see what happened because that was just the internet being the internet.
I mean, I can give my thoughts on what happened there real fast. It appears that the 45 got a little bit loose out of turn 4. 48 was right there, and around went the 45 of Corey Stallhood. Interesting to see how this works out, because the 45 is one of the 3 cars that stayed out. Alongside Trek Togger and Dunlop Prod here, as I believe coming up to the restart.
It'll be 7 laps to go, 3 laps away from the point of no return here at Chicagoland. Dunlop Prod on no tires. He, Trek Togger, and Corey Stallhood all stayed out. On 2 tires are Jovan Anderson, RJ Bishop, and Ike Durbin. First car on 4 tires back in line, and 7th is the 20 of Tyler Mallon. Green flag back out in the air.
Not go at all.
And Trek Togger didn't get going whatsoever. Same thing with the 45. Down to the inside goes Mallon. Up the racetrack goes Corey Stallhood. Into the wall and around goes Togger. That's right in front of the rest of the field. Everybody gets clipped in. Minister nearly upside down. The big one late in the running here at Chicagoland. Cleans house down the back straightaway. Boas was in it. Tyler Stallhood was in it. Drew Fast caught up in his second accident of the afternoon as he was trying to make some ground. Might be easier to see who was not caught up in that accident, and driving his way up to 4th after restarting in 7th was Tyler Mallon.
Mallon took the apron route to avoid that one. He clipped the 60 a little bit as he got loose. He almost spun it himself, but the rest of the field nowhere to go as the track just gets clogged. I'm not really sure what happened to get the 60 so loose there, but it was a catastrophic loss of skill.
He had also stayed out the last couple of times, I think, so those were really old tires for Trek Togger. Corey Stallhood, Joshua Moyers will come down the pit lane. I believe they may have clipped a piece of that accident.
Whatever buffer Dunlop Prod had out of turn 2 there, it's gone. He has to have restart of a lifetime here.
He absolutely does, but good news for him. We're going to get this race restarted probably with 3 laps to go. The problem is Ike Durbin, or the problem is the 74 is on the oldest tires of everybody, and we'll take a look at what happened here to put us under this most recent caution, the big one coming off of the corner. It's right off of the restart. You know, Trek did not get going whatsoever. Corey Stallhood just about losing it there initially. That's what jacked everybody up. But Trek coming out of the corner, got a little help there from the 2. Bounced off of Jovan Anderson.
Completely clogged the track.
And nowhere for anybody to go. Mini Minister. Heavy shot there to the inside. Boas and Volvo Casado did, in fact, go around.
William Goss, one of the lucky drivers who managed to miss the wreck, but he had to almost come to a complete stop to do so.
We'll see what happened here from our turn 3 tower cam. Just a bunch of cars going sideways. Watch that 22 just absolutely lift off.
And the pace car is going to take the hard left. We're about to go green here in point of no return. 4 to go.
Here we go. 4 laps remain here in Chicagoland. It was just a quick yellow to get us back underway. LaPrade leads, and already up to 3rd is Tyler Mallon. He's gotten around Ike Durbin. How can he get around Jovan Anderson? You got 3 really aggressive drivers up in here. RJ Bishop up in the outside wall, and again, we're going to have 3 to go this next time by. We're past the point of no return, so no more yellow flags.
Mallon's trying to work on Anderson for second here. Peeked his nose to the inside. Didn't quite get a run as we have cars in the wall in the back of the field.
RJ Bishop nearly going around. Mallon down to the inside of the 2. Could he get 2 for 1 here with 3 laps to go? He's to the inside of Anderson. Anderson is going to hold firm on the outside lane on those older tires. He's got 2 tires compared to Dunlaprod's none. Compared to both these drivers, Tyler Mallon with the freshest rubber of anybody.
But this is what Dunn wants to see. He wants to see them two fighting in his mirror. The more they fight, the more he can hold them off. But I don't think that's going to happen
Oh,
right
it's not
here.
going to happen. 6 high in the air, 2 laps to go. Mallon right behind the 74 of Laprade. Down to the inside goes the 20. Trying to stick it there on the inside lane. Laprade trying to utilize the outside lane. Jovan Anderson, he might make this 3 wide. He is going to make this 3 wide. Joshua Moyers, meanwhile, up to 4th after all this. You wanted the best. You got him 3 abreast. Anderson trying to hold on to the inside, not able to do so. Neither is Laprade, and splitting the gap there, Tyler Mallon coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go for Tyler Mallon. He's out front with 1.5 miles remaining.
What does a 74 of Laprade have left as Mallon throws it into turn 1?
He does not have a whole lot left. There's going to be a battle for second here between Laprade and Anderson, and Joshua Moyers might make this interesting for a podium position, but down through turns 3 and 4 for one final time. Laprade trying to send it in deep, but he doesn't have the grip. A driver who's been outright dominant so far tonight. Checkered flag in the air. They crash off turn number 4. Tyler Mallon in his first start of the season wins tonight, and the sparks fly behind them. Big wreck, Joshua Moyers in the catch fence.
Hellacious hit with Rich Roy in the back.
Oh, and Blake Warren will pull Austin Dillon up in the catch fence as they wreck behind them.
Rich Roy just got sent to the moon there after crossing the line.
And what a race we had here tonight as Tyler Mallon will get the job done, leading 7 laps on the evening after starting this race in the back. He'll give a congratulatory bump there to Dunlaprod's. And that will do it here for the race. And Tyler Mallon down at the flag stand had the incredible restart. He's going to burn it down here in the Windy City. Tyler Mallon, your winner of the first ever race at the Chicagoland Speedway here for the Fuel Grand National Series, and becomes the 6th different winner in season number 9 here for the Fuel GN. Doing an incredible burnout there, and he is going to drive that 20 car all the way back around. I believe he's going to be giving us a Polish victory lap as well, and he and Jovan Anderson are going to do some dueling burnouts. And at the line, Joshua Moyers, in fact, got around Jovan Anderson for second. For third, I should say. Dunlaprod's got second. We'll take a look at that replay of the finish, because that was about as close can be. Goodness gracious, what a race we had here tonight. And that quickie yellow absolutely is kind of what gave Tyler Mallon a really good chance. He gave him 1 more extra lap to get the job done. And watch this battle for third back in here. We're going to focus with Jovan Anderson. Watch this 2-car Trex up high. We talked about Joshua Moyers making this a great battle for third. At the line, dead heat at the stripe, and give it to Moyers, who wrecked the car. Oh, my Lord. Oh, and Rich Roy, you talked about that 29 car getting destroyed. He got pile driven into, my Lord. Oh, no. Back across the track, and oh, Corey got into the 29. Oh, right in the splash section for the fans. Oh, goodness.
Now, I hate to say this, but there is a chance he might have been vaporized in that car.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate tow car crash. And that will do it here for the race itself. Oh, we have fun here in the Fuel Grand National Series, as we always do. And Crystal, right before we go into our post-race interviews here in a second, your take on an incredible race here tonight. I think, what was that, 8 or 9 caution flags?
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of lost count after a while.
Well, both of our games crashed, so didn't give an accurate read there tonight. And, not a whole lot of chances for us to really, for drivers to really get into a groove here tonight. I think our longest green flag run was maybe about 5 or 6 laps at some point.
Somewhere around there, I think upwards of 10 laps maybe, but those laps also weren't really run all that hard because everybody was still jockeying for position and looking like they were about to kill each other. And then, sure enough, they all killed each other.
And they unfortunately all took each other out there just trying to battle at the end. But Tyler Mallon is your winner of the Colony Ammo 101 here at the Chicagoland Speedway, and he was certainly the class of the field here tonight. We'll go over the rest of your results on the other side of this break, but we're going to take a quick time out, and when we come back, we'll hear from all 3 of our podium finishers here tonight. You'll hear from Joshua Moyers, Dunn LaPrade, and Tyler Mallon after an incredible race here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. We'll back here in just a couple of moments for the post-race show. Here after a great race at Chicagoland for the Fuel Grand National Series here on the NASRN.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot is out.
Another exciting and incredible race is just wrapped up from the Chicagoland Speedway here for the Fuel Grand National Series, and Tyler Mallon getting his first win of season number 9 here at the Fuel Grand National Series here in the Colony Ammo 101. Here on the North American Sim Racing Network, Trey Wright and Crystal Bennett on the call here on the NASRN, bringing you into the Fuel Grand National Series post-race show after race number 7 of the season. And Crystal, your initial thoughts after a really exciting race there. Kind of got a little bit messy up towards the middle, but at the end of the race in that final 3-lap dash, we saw tire wear come into play exactly how we thought it was going to. And your thoughts initially?
I am glad we saw the mad dash there with the tire wear, but I do wish we saw more of it throughout the middle portion of the race. I feel like if we just had a couple longer runs and we saw how tires were wearing in earlier, we would have had ourselves a pretty good strategy race on our hands. Unfortunately, that's just not the way it turned out, but we still got a pretty decent finish out of it.
We definitely did, and we got one heck of a finish for third place. You saw it on the replay a couple of moments ago, and we're going to talk with both of these guys here. We'll bring in both the driver of the number 68 Alsco Uniforms Camaro and the number 2 Amico Toyota Supra, Mr. Jovan Anderson and Joshua Moyers. Both of you guys got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
I got you, Trey.
Hello.
Well, that was an absolute battle at the end for both of you guys, but let's rewind the clock a little bit more towards the beginning of the race. Both of you guys starting in the back after not putting a lap down in qualifying, and there is no previous data for Chicagoland here for the Fuel Grand National Series. I know both of you guys have probably raced here a bunch of times before and online, but with these NXS 20 cars and in a track where tire wear means absolutely everything at Chicagoland, what are your initial expectations coming into tonight for both of you guys, starting with you, Josh?
Yeah, I really didn't have any expectations coming in. I've never raced this mod before. I actually haven't raced this version of Chicagoland before. Didn't even have a setup, really. So I got to thank Apollo for putting one in the server. I think that's the one I ultimately used, but Tyler and Drew also gave me some setups to try out. So just messed with that a little bit in practice, and saw that we had some competitive times. It was just going to be a matter of, if you keep the tires under you for the run. Ultimately, with the way the race played out, it didn't really matter in the end. It was a bit of a caution fest, but chaos is part of it when it comes to racing. So really enjoyed the time here, though. There's a lot of these guys I haven't raced with before, but some very familiar faces that I don't get to race with very often. So definitely enjoyed my time here tonight. And if my work schedule works out, I'll try to hit some more races here and there.
Yeah, I'll second everything Joshua just said, except I wasn't planning on running this race until about 20 minutes before it was supposed to happen. So got caught completely off guard. A couple of my friends are just like, "Hey, we're running this race, and this person's here," and I'm just like, "Really?" And I'm just like, and I just love racing with some of these guys so much, and life gets in the way, and schedules change and people change and things change, and it makes it much more difficult to do the same stuff that you were doing in the past. So here I was saying to myself, oh, I'm just gonna stop racing for a while cold turkey, because I'm not in a good position right now to be doing this. And alas, here I was, and I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready. Brand new track that we haven't ran before, and practically doing the Huangdo thing in that famous NR video where at the last second I'm frantically making adjustments trying to see how the setup feels, and and then having my internet have issues and other things going on all at the same time. It's just like, okay, like what this is not meant to be, but we're doing it anyway. So we did, and I'm glad I did. Despite all the chaos that race brought, we finally got a handle underneath the car somewhat, at least after about halfway through the race, and there we were in the situation we were, and uh, thankful for the great times for great people. That's all I got to say about that.
Hey, we're thankful to be blessed with two really incredible drivers racing here tonight. When I saw both of you guys on the entry list right before qualifying, I knew that we were going to be in for a great battle there at the end, especially in the final 100 yards of the race. Joven, I think you and Dunn got a little bit together off the corner, and Joshua, we were talking about it on the final lap, how you could make things interesting for the podium spot. Just both of you guys just walk us through that final lap there, especially off of that restart. Joshua, we'll start with you once again.
Yeah, after that last caution, I kind of got tagged by Vincent and tore my tires up. So I went down and got a fresh set of tires and taped it up a little bit. Probably should have taped it up a little bit more. But we restarted, I think it was 10th, and we were 5th or 6th after turn 1 and 2. So I felt pretty good about trying to hopefully getting up there. But with 2 and 3 laps to go, I was overdriving really bad, and it killed my tires, because I think otherwise, had I kept my head on straight, I may have even got up there and battled for the lead with a little bit of a tire advantage and the extra downforce with the grill tape. But that last lap, kind of hunkered down, and unfortunately for Joven, they got together a little bit there, and he got real tight coming off turn 4, and I got a great run, and he could have blocked me to the grass. I'm glad he didn't. And we got to drag race there to start finish line. I think we're only separated by 100th of a second. So it's always fun having side by side finishes like that with your friends, and never take them for granted, because you don't know how often it gets to happen nowadays. But I'll take them whenever I can get them. So.
Well, that and here I'm thinking I was gonna have a chance to race for the win, and I was, and then with the different strategies and all that stuff, you just never know how it's gonna fall, and typically it's whoever's got the gonna have the best execution is the one that's gonna come out on top. And I tried to make a move, and because I saw that Tyler was trying to make a move with like 2 or 3 to go the inside, and he washed up the track and couldn't stick it. So I'm just like, okay, well, if I can get enough of a run on the outside of Dunn, I'll go outside. So I tried that, and it didn't quite work, and Tyler went low underneath him, and then I did the crossover on both of them. We were 3 wide down the back, and I'm thinking to myself, this is probably not going to work either way for me. So I just kind of made sure I didn't slide up in anybody, and saw where the chips fell, and the 4 tires won out. And then yeah, I mean, nothing Dunn could do. He was just fighting for everything he could to hold on to his position. It's not his fault at all. I just kind of, he kind of got clear of me, and then I washed up the track, and then I saw you in my mirror there, and I'm just like, no, literally me in the moment, just like yelling frantically, like, no, he's gonna get me. No, and he got me. So, but it was a blast, and whether it's for the win or for third or for last, I don't care. It doesn't matter how the race goes. When you have finishes like that, it makes it all worth it. So, I'm glad.
It absolutely does, and just racing with your buddies like this, especially online, especially in just a competitive setting like this, it's a ton of fun, especially when you guys are really pushing each other to do better. And both of you guys, for Joven, up until the Michigan race a couple of months ago, this was your first race. You took a little bit of a hiatus from the Fuel Racing League, and Joshua, this is your first race in season number 1 as well. Both you guys say it doesn't really fall in your schedules on Wednesday nights to come here and race regularly. But how does it feel to really be back here, in just some capacity with the Fuel Racing League, and just especially some of the level of competition we've got here, and that was really on display tonight with some really good runs.
You want to go ahead and get this one first, Jobin?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short. The way I look at it is, I don't care where it is or who it's with. if I get the opportunity to race with some of my really close friends that I've, had, a blast to race with in the past, if I get the opportunity to run with them again, I don't care where it is, I'm going to take that chance. Everyone in the community has, has that small group of friends, or, a few friends that you run with, that you just love racing with, and enjoy, and just have a special, I don't, this is probably too deep, but I can't think of a better way to explain it. But you just have a special kind of relationship with, or I don't even know how else to put it, but you know what I mean, like, in a sense. And you just have that friendship, and you know uh, that connection out on the racetrack, where you know you guys get out there, no matter what happens or what you do, you just have fun racing with them, and that's what I love about it. So if I get that chance, I don't care where it is, I'm gonna take it. So I'm glad I did. And it's these kind of moments that are why we all love and enjoy it. So thank you to you guys for putting on, and thank you to Tyler and Fuel for hosting, so we have the opportunity to still do it when we get the chance. So
Yeah, I'll echo that. Um, I like to race, with my friends and wherever they're at. If my time's open, I'm gonna join them and have some fun. Um, but like, I remember a few years ago when Tyler started this league, and to see how much it's grown and how big of a community there is here, um, and the fact that it's also, kind of entry level. There's people that, you know, do a lot of work and help newcomers, um, you know, start building setups, learn how to build setups, and learn racecraft too. Tonight was a little bit rough, but you're going to have that in a series like this. But nonetheless, all the work that Tyler's done with this league, it's really awesome to see how much it's grown over the past few years. Wish I could support it more. If my schedule ever changes, I'll definitely be racing here a lot more often. So yeah, I gotta thank him for that. So
Yeah, and a really good performance out of both of you guys, and hopefully for both of you guys, the schedules will align a little bit better, so you guys can put on some more some really great performances like we saw here tonight. Crystal, you got anything for our fourth and third place finishers here tonight that finished in a just straight up drag race dead heat?
Yeah, pretty much a dead heat there at the end to finish it. Um, my only question for you is, how did both of your guys' tires hold up there in those final laps, pushing about as hard as both of you did?
yeah, my fronts were definitely cooked. It's a super fine line between trying to make speed and keeping the tires under you, and you literally go in a mile an hour faster, or 25 feet further into the turns, and you're going to heat your tires up 10-15 degrees more than what you were, and the grip just falls off. So um, trying to race hard and and still, have yourself reined in enough to keep the tires under you. It's a game of chess, and uh, none of us are robots, so maybe Tyler might be a robot, but uh, but uh, but yeah, it's easy to overgo that line there, and so it's fun though. So I love races like that, that have a kind of low grip and big tire fall off and stuff like that, because it just kind of opens it up. You can decide to run hard, chew your tires up. Yeah, you'll pull away at the beginning of the run, but someone in the back that was responsible with their tire wear and took it easy. They can benefit on the back end, and those are the kind of races I really enjoy the most.
There were definitely some really exciting races here tonight, and we'll before we let you guys go, we'll give you both the floor to thank any sponsors that you want to know. Both of you guys have had some experience here during the proverbial hat dance here on the NES Arena. Of course, Joshua, you've done so many post-race interviews. over at the Fast Racing League with the Fast RPCS, and Joven, of course, you getting a win earlier this year. But we'll start with Joven. We'll give you the floor to thank any sponsors you want. If there's anybody, any of you guys want to shout out here on the NASRN airwaves for 4th place and 3rd place finishers, respectively, Joven and Josh, the floor is yours, my guys.
Oh, jeez. Okay, give me a second. All right, now, I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing the broadcast. I can't wait to go back and see that wonderful finish between us. That's going to be one we're going to probably remember for a long time. Thank you to Tyler Stawhood and all the admins at Fuel for putting on this race so that we could do this. Thank you for everybody who came out and ran. Thank you to everyone who watched. Hope we put on a good show for you guys, and just thanks to my home league, Bomb Sky Racing, Ryan Canty, Wills Trucking. I think their sponsor was on the track for once, which is goated. Just thank you to everybody for still doing this, and I don't know when I'll be back, but these guys will probably persuade me, as usual, to come run another race or two, even when I'm totally not up to it. So we'll see. It's always cat and mouse. Some people they get so obsessed and so into this that no matter how hard they try or no matter how many times they say they're not going to do it anymore, they still end up doing it because it's just how much they enjoy it. They just don't enjoy some of the stuff that comes with it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm also going to thank y'all for the broadcast. I'll definitely be going back and rewatching it. So always grateful to see y'all in the server and putting all the effort in for that. I got to thank Mr. Stylehood for the league. Give a shout out to Randall over at my home league over at Fast on Sunday nights. I got to thank Dunn. Since this was kind of last minute, he threw a car together for me. So it was a pretty sharp car for last minute. So
absolutely.
So I got to thank him very much for that. Good win to Tyler tonight. He seemed to have the best pace of any of us. So I will say that the best person tonight on the track ended up winning. Got to say hi to my wife, say hi to the rest of the family. Hope they're all doing good. And I believe that's it. So.
Well, a couple of good runs for both of you guys here tonight, but unfortunately only one of you had to finish in get that final podium spot. It was right down to the wire, but Josh, you were able to edge out Joven there by about 100 of a second there at the line to get that final podium spot. But congratulations to both of you guys. We definitely hope to see you guys around here a lot more often because the better drivers we get here in the server, the more exciting these races become, and you guys put on an absolute show. Joshua, we'll see you here in a couple of Sundays. Joven, we'll see you when we see you, but thank you so much for coming on post-race, and we'll see you when we see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
User was moved out of
That's Joshua Moyers and Joven Anderson, drivers of the number 68 and 2. Alsco Uniforms Chevrolet Camaro and Amico Toyota Supra. Your two 3rd and 4th place finishers here tonight. And we'll bring things up to our 2nd place finisher here in just a moment in that Schaefer Group 74 car. We'll bring him in right here and right now. Driver of the number 74, the Schaefer Group 74 machine, Mr. Dunn LaPrade. You got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
Yep, I do.
Well, that was certainly an exciting end to the race, and strategy was certainly coming into play there at the end. But unfortunately, with that quick yellow, gave Tyler Mallon just enough of a more window of time to get around you for the race win on the final lap. Your initial thoughts on this race from start to finish?
Well, anytime that Tyler Mallon is on the track, along with Joven Anderson and Joshua Boyes, I mean, you gotta be on your A game. If not, you gotta be on your A game. If not, triple A game. or S2 in the like Sonic game categories. If you know Sonic games, if you know, you know. So yeah, it was going to be a nail biter at the end there for sure, right? Obviously this entire race was, from start to finish, it was a little bit messy to my liking for sure, but we still had good racing, when we got going, and yeah, and I felt really confident about tonight, especially running that top line, but. With the track kind of evened out as far as which lanes you're racing on, it's kind of one of those things where you just had to really just I think it was just whoever could drive the who really who can just drive the track the best. I know Tyler and I talked about it, and he came up to that conclusion first. I tend to agree with him just because I think he drove a lot better than me at the end there, and Jova too, of course. So yeah, it was going to be a nail biter at the end, and when Tyler Mallon got passed by me on that second to last caution, whichever it was, I was kicking to myself for that, so I had to just I had to make a decision on it. If I stayed behind him, go to pit road, and take 4 fresh tires, I would be right there with him. But knowing how tough he is to pass, he would not. I probably would not have a chance, or just stay out and hope that more cars would follow suit. And unfortunately for me, not a lot of people stayed out, so that really kind of put me in a really bad spot. Especially when you got guys like Jovid, Tyler Mallon, Josh Boyers, and others who are, you know, faster, if not equal with me, who are going to be a threat to beat that took 2 and 4 fresh tires. So I had to try to defend really hard at the end, and it did not quite work out. But to come out with a second place finish, giving everything that happened, and that really crazy final 3 laps of the race or so, that was really rewarding.
It definitely was, and walk us through those final 3 laps where it turns into. We thought we were going to get this race restarted with 3 laps to go. It turns into a quick yellow to extend things to 4 laps to go, and you're on the oldest tires of anybody on the grid. You've got Ike Durbin and Jovan Anderson right behind you on 2 tires each, and of course Tyler Mallon, the first car, on 4 tires. Do you think there was anything differently you would have done on that final restart, or just Mallon really just the guy to beat on the fresh rubber?
Nah, it would not have been anything different. Tyler was just the best on the fresh rubber, and just likewise with Jovan Anderson as well. He took 2 tires, and I knew that one of them was gonna beat me for the win, and I just had to, really just drive my heart out, just trying to defend both of them, which is not an easy thing to do for sure, especially especially as fast and as accomplished as both of them are. I know that I was up for a challenge, and I do like that. I love to get out of my comfort zone sometimes and have that extra challenge. Instead of like going in the pit with Jovan and Tyler Mallon, you just go out and stay out on older tires and just hope that it'll stick. And it did not work out, but it was still kind of a success in a way, because at least I fended off one of those. So it wasn't meant to be tonight, but yeah, Tyler was just the man to beat.
It definitely was, and we saw it all throughout practice and happy hour. He started a little bit towards the back, but he methodically made his way up. But overall, what were your thoughts on this race? Just from a driver's perspective, especially at such a racy track like Chicagoland, where it's one of the few tracks where you're really able to run that high line really consistently, and we see a lot of drivers run the Larson line. Just how fun of a track is Chicagoland to drive, and how fun was it to really drive this track here tonight?
Chicagoland has always been a special track to me. I mean, it's one of those tracks that it's really, it's not just because I'm really good at this particular racetrack, but because it just has everything you could dream of, like multi-groove racing and everybody battling for the same piece of real estate. You got great racing action like we saw at the finish there. It's a lot that you can do, and I mean, very old surface and bumpy surface, and tires wearing out as well. I mean, strategies everywhere. I mean, what more can you ask for, right? It's just that good.
Absolutely, and just when you get such an old surface like this, that's where, like you're talking about, the tire wear was certainly the biggest storyline that Chris and I were really following here tonight. And overall, that's really what came to be, at least in turn that it really decided the early part of this race. The middle part of the race got a little bit messy with the start and stop cautions, and at the end there with that final 3-lap dash, the tire wear and the differing strategies that everybody had really kind of proved to us just what we knew was going to be a great race here tonight. But Crystal, you got anything for our runner-up finish here before we get into the proverbial hat dance?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to congratulate you. Second place, really strong run for you tonight. You were actually my pick pre-race to come through with the win. You almost got him you almost got him there. Unfortunately, just lost it in the last few laps.
Sorry.
Hey, not your fault. But I do want to ask you just about your tires, really, because that's the big thing I'm curious about. You stayed out over the past couple of cautions there. How how confident were you with your tires against those that took 2 and those that took 4?
Funny that you asked me that, because I remember that Fast Racing League ran this particular version of Chicagoland. It might have been a little bit different, but it's the same build, same design and everything. And I just remembered that until I found out, just about 5 or 10 minutes ago, that it was edited differently. That I just remembered that I was running the top line pretty much the majority of the race for the most part, because I just remember where uh, Fast last year we ran at this particular version of Chicagoland, and the outside line was just really, and I mean really, really, really good for your tires, especially for the long runs. Like you're able to save your tires. At least you could run hard and then be able to still save your tires while running up the top for pretty much the entire green flag run in the Fast Racing League that I raced at with this particular version of Chicago last year. So that's why I stayed out, a couple of those times and ran a high line quite, all night almost for the most part, because I just remembered that little trick. So I thought it worked out into my hands at the end there. It just in that first pit stop when everybody pitted and I stayed out, I felt really, really good. I was probably going to be a little bit uneasy if I ran the bottom, but I think really it just comes down to who can be the best at just not shredding the tires, because it's really what I was told. It's pretty much equal everywhere. So I think it's just as long as you drive the track properly, I think you'll be able to save your tires just fine. Which I did not know that, so oops. But still, pretty good with a second place finish, so I can't complain.
No, not at all. Good points day for you tonight as well.
I try to.
Yeah, absolutely a great points day, taking advantage of Will Goss finishing outside the top 5. Apollo Hyde wasn't even in the field tonight, and especially after missing what was ultimately a very gong show race last week at Bent Twig, where he really didn't miss much, to be honest. You got a great second place result here tonight. And before we let you go, we'll give you the chance for the proverbial hat dance to thank anybody that you want. I know you got a brand new paint scheme here, revamping your Schaefer Group car. But we'll give you the chance here to thank any sponsors you want. If there's anybody else you want to shout out here on the NASRN for a runner-up finisher here tonight at Chicagoland. Mr. Dunlapra, the floor is yours.
Well, first and foremost, I want to shout out to you and Crystal up on the booth. Y'all always do a great job. Shout out to Tyler Stallhood for the league. Shout out to everyone who has raced their field throughout the entire season, or at 80 point in the season so far. Shout out to Jovan Anderson, Joshua Boyers, or Tyler Mallon. Those three drivers are always fun to race with. Those three in particular, I really enjoy racing against them, especially when we all battle it out at the end there. That makes it so much fun. So shout out to all three of them. Shout out to Tyler Mallon. Congrats on the win. I mean, what more can you say about him? So he's a hell of a racer, and I'm very much a privilege to be able to race with him again. Just because whenever he's on the track, I'm always up for the challenge. I love that. So shout out to him on the Tyler Mallon doing Tyler Mallon things. Another incredible win. Shout out to Team EFR, and shout out to all the drivers who raced here tonight. I think I almost forgot to say that. And shout out to everyone for making me a better driver. And to all the Canadians out there, happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day as well for all our Canadian brothers to the north. As Don LaPrade, you're going to get a second place finish here tonight. A great run here tonight. We'll see what you guys can do at Anchorage next week. Super Speedway racing, it's always fun. I know my co-commentator absolutely loves Super Speedway racing, don't you, Crystal?
It depends on the track, but Anchorage I do love. It's very schizophrenic, fits my driving style just fine.
Well, that's going to be a ton of fun next week, and Dunn will hopefully see you next week as well, especially with this battle for the point standings and this battle for the championship getting really, really interesting as well. But thank you so much for coming on here post-race, as always, Dunn. I look forward to seeing you next week up in Alaska for race number 8 of Season 9. Until then, have a good one, dude.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. Have a great night to you all as well.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Dunn LaPrade, driver of the number 74, the Schaefer Group. Chevrolet Camaro for LaPrade Racing Incorporated. It's time to bring in the man of the hour.
User was
driver of the number 20 Ream Toyota Supra for Notepad Racing. Mr. Tyler Mallon, you got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
Got a copy. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good ourselves, and you were doing pretty good right before this race started. You were top of the charts in practice, missed qualifying, and really had to start from the back of the field. Were the top of the charts, however, once again in happy hour. And you were able to get the job done here tonight with some late race heroics. First and foremost, congratulations on your first win of Season 9. If your first race competed and your 11th overall fuel win, first one since Season number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. Yeah, it's been a while.
It certainly has, but it's certainly been a long time coming. A little bit different looking of a fuel racing league here over these last couple of seasons. But coming into tonight, and we really saw it during practice, Chicagoland, it is a very racy track with the old surface, especially on this version of the BSR 2018 version of this track. It's a very old surface, a lot of area to run, and especially that high line was where most of the drivers were running here tonight. But you were running the low line to start things off. Was that a pre-planned just maneuver for you compared to where everybody else was going to be running? Or just walk us through that decision to really stick on the low line around everybody tonight?
Well, it really was just where I was most comfortable, I went into this race not really expecting much or anything. I just wanted to run a good race, see how everyone liked the track, work out a few bugs with the track, such as a pit road entry glitch. But it came together in the end. Inside was just really where my car was most comfortable all night. I felt way too tight on the top. I tend to run pretty tight setups compared to a lot of people, which really limits my options for racing lines, mainly to the bottom, unless the top is just that much more competitive. But I feel like they were pretty even tonight, depending on where your car was the best. Dunn was the best on the top. I was the best on the bottom. And you saw us battle there for a while. We couldn't get by him. We were pretty even.
Yeah, and you guys were just about even for the majority of the race, but there was a lot of starting and stopping in this race with 8 caution flags going on the board. Actually, 9 caution flags, now that I think of it, going on the board here tonight. And that really affected the strategy racing for a lot of drivers here tonight, particularly with that when the second to final caution flag came out very late in the running. How did that really affect your strategy here with the stop and go and not really a chance to really run a full 30-lap fuel run?
It was a little frustrating. I build all of my setups based entirely around long run speed. and we didn't have any of that tonight. So it took a lot of adjusting mid race to get the car to where I wanted it on the short run to where I could compete. But it yeah, I knew on that last restart or however many cautions it was, that whatever I did, Dunn was going to do the exact opposite. So if I pitted, he was going to stay out, and if I stayed out, he was going to pit and get fresh tires. But I generally prefer to be on offense in these situations. I'm not great at blocking. I either am too lenient and end up giving the position away, or I'm too aggressive and I cause a wreck. So those are both not ideal situations. So I was just hoping I could get through the cars that stayed out and took 2 tires on the restart, and there was a pretty big checkup there. It and a big wreck afterwards. I don't really know what happened, but I'm glad I was able to avoid it. But yeah, no, it was very interesting on the strategy to see what it would come down to with the late caution in the end. But I do wish we could have gotten a long green flag run, and I feel like I would have had a pretty good shot at being up front after maybe a 20 lap run or so.
Absolutely, and we could have seen that a couple of times here tonight. We saw a couple of green flag runs. I think the longest run we had was about maybe 7 or 8 or 9 laps at one point in this race. But, this is your first fuel race, if I'm not mistaken, since season number 1 back a couple of years ago. And things have certainly changed here in the Fuel Racing League, both with driver counts and the amount of tracks we go to in the mod as well, if I'm not mistaken. How does it really feel to be back in the fuel server after missing so much time? And do you think we can see this 20 car back here a little bit more regularly here, especially with still 4 races to go in season 9 here?
No, it's good being back. Tyler does Stallhood, other Tyler. He does a really good job running this league, and that hasn't changed over the years. He's a great league admin. I respect everything he does to put this together and put every race on that he does, because he really knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of experience in that department. But yeah, I'm really not sure how many races I'm gonna run. Originally, this was just a kind of one and done deal, trying to test a track and maybe support fuel a little bit. But no, it was fun. So I'm at the point where I'm gonna I can't speak. I'm at the point where I don't know what I'm saying. I'm at the point
English
in
could
my
be hard sometimes.
it is really hard. I don't know how you guys broadcast these things. But yeah, I'm at the point where I just pick and choose what tracks I like to run. If we ever have Darlington or Rockingham on the schedule, you can count me in as 100% being there. I love those tracks. But yeah, we'll kind of play it race by race on whether or not I'm going to be here. But hopefully, I put a lot of effort into this paint scheme, so it'd be a shame to use it only once.
Absolutely, and of course, whenever you get guys like yourself, Joshua Moyers, Joe Van Anderson, a couple other drivers that are really in the server, it really pushes everybody to really step up their game here tonight. We're hearing from Dunlop Rod earlier how he really had to step up his game when you're in the server and you were just kicking butt, taking names. We saw you put that 29.2 second time during practice late in that session. We knew that, okay, this is going to be the car to beat. And then seeing you more towards the back at the beginning of the race was kind of a change of pace, but overall, being able to drive your way up through the field and get the job done here for your 11th career win. Pretty good job overall, things considered. Crystal, you got anything for our winner here tonight in Chicagoland?
Yeah, really an up and down night for you tonight. You managed to stay clean of, well, mostly clean of really all the big wrecks, especially that real big one with 7 to go, 6 to go, something like that.
Yeah, it was a really close one.
But you had the freshest tires of anybody up there in the top 5, and you were able to somehow get around Joven, Moyers, and Dunn there. They all put up a really strong fight. You were able to pull it off. How do you feel about that run there at the end?
I mean, it was, what more can you ask for racing? Like, that was just a fantastic battle. We were 3 wide going into the turn for the win with 2 to go. So Dunn, Joven, Josh, they're fantastic racers. I love racing with them. Every single time we're on track, we have a fantastic time. But yeah, I knew with Joven on 2 tires, it was going to be a lot harder to get around him when we were side by side. I sent it into the corner and kind of put myself in a compromising position and had to lift. And I thought it was over at that point, but he caught Dunn at a bad time, and I was able to kind of use Dunn as a pick out of turn 4 in order to get around Joven. And then I really just kind of sent it into 1 and hoped it sticked. Hoped it would stick in the inside of Dunn. I didn't want to push him up the track. So if I felt myself getting tight, I was going to lift and let him have that, because I'm not going to wreck anybody for any wins. But yeah, no, it was just a fantastic race. I'm really glad to be able to race with those two, or those three, I should say. Excuse me. The way I can.
Absolutely, and whenever you guys are all on the server together, it certainly puts on for an incredible show, and we saw that here tonight. But Tyler, what we'd like to do during these broadcasts for everybody, right at the end of these broadcasts, is give you the chance, the opportunity to thank any sponsors that you want. If there's anybody you want to shout out here on the North American Sim Racing Network for our winner here tonight in the Windy City of Chicago for the Colony Ammo 101, Mr. Tyler Mallon, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much to you guys for broadcasting, first of all. Broadcasting is extremely difficult. I've tried it myself and failed miserably. So, yeah, you guys, fantastic job, as always. I'm going to go back and watch it and probably share this around, if that's okay.
Go for
That's fine.
Who wouldn't take free advertising? But, yeah, thank you to Reem for being on the car. Involuntarily, but, doesn't matter.
They get some free advertising out of this, too.
Exactly. Thank you to Tyler Stallhood for putting on this show every week. He does, like I said, a fantastic job. Thank you to Joven, Dunn, Josh, and everyone for racing me really clean tonight. I always try to race everyone as clean as I can, and I always appreciate it when we can have good battles in return and, clean racing. Let's see. Bomb Squad Racing, great group of people. Thank you to those guys for always sticking with me and being a great place to just go hang out and race. Put some of their logos out on the track tonight with Medicine Chest, Mystic Pizza, although I think that logo is a little broken. I'll have to fix that for this track. But and Voiles Trucking out on the track as well. Yeah, I think that's all I got for tonight.
Hey, a lot of people to thank, and it certainly takes a village to put these race teams and race leagues together. And hey, I know you've definitely put together your fair share of online races as well with Melon Car all the way back in the day. Talk about a blast from the past. But overall, getting the win here tonight and your return to the Fuel Grand National Series here tonight. Thank you so much for coming on post-race, and we'll go ahead and let you celebrate with your team, Tyler.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming on here. Have a good night.
You too.
User was moved
That was
out of
Tyler
your
Mallon,
channel.
driver of the number 20 Ream Toyota Supra for Notepad Racing, your winner of the Colony Ammo 101 here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway, and that will wrap things up for our broadcast here this evening. Crystal, you got any final words for before getting out of Dodge? And before we do so, big congratulations to you for making it through your first ever NASRN broadcast here.
Well, thank you for letting me up in the booth today. I wasn't really in the right conditions to race tonight. I was extremely dehydrated from work, but I'm looking forward to being back in the car next week. I'm hoping to probably put on a show for you guys.
Well, it definitely was a really fun time here tonight. It definitely was really insightful commentary from you as well, and Tyler Mallon getting the job done in the final 3 laps after that restart with 4 laps to go, taking advantage of the fresh tire here and the fresher rubber he had over everybody else to get his 11th career win here in the Fuel Grand National Series. We'll go through the top-down order. It doesn't look like we've got any post-race penalties that are going to affect the running order. So we'll go ahead, go through all 21 cars that finished the race here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway, beginning with Tyler Mallon, who finished in first. He led 7 laps on the evening to win by half a second over Dunn LaPrade, who finished in second. Joshua Moyers and Joven Anderson had a dead heat at the line, where Moyers beat out Joven Anderson by exactly 1/100th of a second for the 68 to round out the podium. Joven Anderson went to finish 4th. Ike Durbin rounded out the top 5 in 5th. Will Goss finished in the 6th position. 7th was R.J. Bishop. 8th was Chris Bowes in his Fuel Grand National debut here tonight in car number 10. 9th was Vincenzo Focasato, and rounding out the top 10, after crashing right there at the end, was Rich Roy. 11th was Drew Fast, 12th was Minnie Minister, 13th was Blake Warren, rounding out, doing a great job of rebounding after a rough start to his race. He gets a top 15 finish. Corey Stolhood finished in 14th, and Drek Tauger rounded out the top 15. 16th was Tyler Stolhood, 17th was Bobby Simpson, 18th was Ace Racer, first car out of the race, 19th was Victor Nunez, and 20th was Yahir Alvarado. Rounding out the 21-car grid was the 33 of Grant Warren. That will do it here for tonight's broadcast on the North American Sim Racing Network. We'll be back here next Wednesday night on July 8th at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for race number 8 of the season from the Anchorage Super Speedway up in Alaska. That's going to be a ton of fun here on the NASRN. We're down to the final 4 races of season number 9 here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Got plenty of stuff coming up here this week on the offline side of things with the Mission Barbecue Cup Series back at the Boston International Speedway tomorrow afternoon at noon Eastern Time right here on the NASRN. We've got FMGTC racing all this weekend as well on both Friday and Saturday. The NBCS will be back on Sunday night from the Coca-Cola Super Speedway to round out the Duncan Month of Speed. But that's going to do it here for the online segment of this week. Very big thanks to Crystal Bennett for coming on here to do some color commentary here for tonight's race for the Colony Ammo 101 at Chicagoland Speedway. And that will do it here for tonight's broadcast. On behalf of Tyler Stallhood, Apollo Hyde, and everybody at the Fuel Racing League, and for everybody here at the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright saying so long from Joliet, Illinois. This concludes tonight's presentation of the Fuel Grand National Series race number 7 of the season from the Chicagoland Speedway, live on your home for the Fuel Racing League, the North American Sim Racing Network. Thank you to everybody for tuning in to tonight's broadcast here on the NASRN. We'll see everybody next Wednesday night for race number 8 of the season. Until then, have a good week, folks, and enjoy your 4th of July.